If you notice, the magic thing did a really good job of taking out your
Yeah, I
voice.
only heard it. I only heard a couple of bang bang bangs,
Mm-hmm.
which was like, oh, phew, thank God. Let's see. Come on, Substack, work today. Be good today, Substack.
Yesterday was Lexi's 21st birthday.
Oh, happy birthday to Lexi.
Mm.
Yes, it is working. Hooray for Substack. And the peoples are watching. The peoples are watching. Hello, peoples. Hello.
I thought it was funny. One of our viewers, I don't remember who it was last week, Kathleen.
Okay.
She was like, "Where is everybody?" I
I
was like, "I don't know. They don't love us anymore.
know. We're
They've
just not.
deserted us."
We're not edgy enough. We have
That's
to
why
start
we'll
getting.
never have sponsors.
Yeah, probably not. It still vexes me that Substack just kind of killed everything a year, like almost 2 years ago.
Well, I blame that on all of the popular once Don Lemon came over, and don't get me wrong, I like Don Lemon. But once Don Lemon came over, everybody else, all of the big names were coming over, like Chris Cuomo.
I know, but they did something in March of 2024
No, well, what I'm saying is that
or 2025.
I
Sorry.
think that the big names came, so I think they started throttling the smaller creators to give the bigger creators a platform.
Oh yeah, no, that's definitely what they did. That's definitely what happened, which is super annoying. But it's like why throttle everyone else? It's like if people are going to gravitate to them, they'll gravitate to them. Why bother throttling the rest of us? It's like we're still going to make you money, aren't we? So why do you care?
I know.
Operation.
I don't know what to tell you. I don't know why you can't hear, but I know that it's not loud enough that it won't get taken out in the editing. So
Oh, hey, you know what? Before we even start, as the
no.
people slowly trickle in, let me see if the echo thing still happens. Because we haven't actually played a video in a while. So, all right, I'm gonna open this up. Here, start talking.
Did you? Oh yeah, echoing.
Are you?
I am. It was. I hear myself. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So you won't be able to talk.
Mommy.
There he is. Told
There
you.
he is.
Mommy. Look what we did to poor Swanky. But that was just say, look what I said. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, baby, I'm recording.
Because you know why? You kept spam killing Swanky. Went until he rage quitted. And then every single one said long.
It's almost like he does that on purpose.
Yeah, almost. It's
Almost.
Like, you should see him when he starts stimming. Sometimes I'm like, did they misdiagnose him? Because sometimes he does things that are very aspy. But, the thing is like autism and ADHD have so many overlapping symptoms.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
Did I ever tell you about the time that I diagnosed myself with autism in the bathtub?
No.
I was watching Instagram. I was laying in the bath, and it was talking about symptoms or whatever, like things that you do, and it was like just random stuff, right? And I go, oh my God, Alex, it's me. I did it.
Claudia is forever diagnosing herself on Instagram.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, Alex just looked at me, shut the bedroom door or the bathroom door, shook his head, walked away from me.
Good move, Alex. Good move. Yeah, no, Claudia's forever dosing herself on Instagram, and we just kind of tune her out at this point. It's like, okay,
Yeah, you literally can't do that.
yeah, it's like, okay, yes,
Because if you're looking hard enough, you'll find anything.
exactly.
It's confirmation bias, you know.
Which is why I don't even bother. It's like I don't even remotely try to look for stuff like that. It's like, no, it'll tell me whatever I want to see.
No, I mean you're definitely neurodivergent, but what flavor? Who knows?
And it's too late for me to be bothered checking now.
Yeah, who cares? You just
Doesn't
collect. Sorry. Oh my god. Yeah, who cares at this point?
Exactly. It's like it's not going to change anything, and I don't really care.
I think Aiden feels that way, because he's definitely neurospicy. We just don't know what flavor, and I told him to like just be aware of it, right? Because you can tell when he can't let something go,
Right.
and he gets like stuck thinking. But it's not to the point where it like affects his life in any way. So he's like, well, it doesn't impact my life, so I'm not gonna. Who cares? He goes, I make it work for me. And I'm like, yeah, but you should just be aware just in case like it starts affecting your life. Like, you know.
All right. Oh wait, hold on. Let me kill the volume on my phone.
Are we getting started? Oh yeah, because you gotta edit.
I do have to edit, and I have to pack. I get to go back up to New York this tomorrow. Yay! So excited.
I love that drive though, like the New Jersey Parkway.
Ugh.
I love that you guys have, because you go through Delaware a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I think so. So I love that, like, I love that you guys on your interstate, you have like those stops where it's like a mall.
Oh yeah, no, that's super convenient. Thank God, New Jersey and Delaware like have all the stops. That's like, oh, I need a bathroom. There's a nice huge rest stop.
Yeah, because we have like rest stops, but it's just bathrooms.
Yeah, no, this is it's got
But
all
you
like,
guys have
got all
like
the little restaurants. It's got
yeah.
a
I
little
went in
shop.
there. I went in there. I had lunch. There's like a store. I think I bought some aspirin.
I love the chairs. I love the massage chairs. Those
Oh, I
things
didn't notice those.
Oh my God, those are so great. You just pop in like $5 and it's like 15 minutes and it just really works your back and it's so good.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, but I thought that was really cool. I also like that in New Jersey, you don't have to get out of your car to fill up your gas tank. You just give them your debit card and they do the work.
I know, it's so weird. Like the first time we did that and they wouldn't let me fill it up myself, I was just like, but this isn't the 1950s. I can fill up my own gas tank. What you doing, man?
Yeah, it's funny. But, you know, like Oregon used to be like that, but I think they changed the law and people were really mad about it because it eliminated jobs.
I get it, though. It goes a whole lot quicker when they do it for you. And if you got like a long line of cars, you want someone to just do it. Boom, boom, boom. Let's get the line moving. Let's get the line moving. So
Yeah, it was really convenient. I liked it a lot. Although I'd hate to pull up there and be like, hey, can you put $2?
They're like, get out.
Can I get $2.50, please? All right, let's get started. Sorry.
All right. Okay. All right. Here we go. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh shit! I forgot to open Substack to talk to our peoples.
Wow, you don't love our viewers. You hear that, everybody? She doesn't love you.
Substack is being weird.
What? No, not Substack.
Oh. Okay, here we go.
Is you ready?
Yeah.
Nope.
Oh my god. You can just get started. I can do this.
Okay. This is the Opinionated Ogre Podcast, your weekly rampage through current events with little snark, a bit of foul language, and a lot of strong opinions. There are new episodes every Thursday, and they're not safe for work or polite company or any. Wow, we're off to a great start this week. There are new episodes every Thursday, and they're not safe for work or polite company of any kind whatsoever. I am your podcast host, the Opinionated Ogre, and this is my co-host, Florida Woman. Hello, Florida woman. How are
Good
you?
morning. I am terrific.
How's it going over there?
It
Is it Florida-ish?
It is, and it's been raining a lot here.
I know. Yeah, no, we've been getting a lot of rain up here too. I guess it's just that time of the summer. It's been like only in like the 80s, but it's been like, I don't know, 500% humidity.
Oh, yeah. I can relate.
Well, I mean, yeah, you live in the subtropic hellhole.
Well,
So.
we live in a swamp. We both live in swamps.
Both literally and figuratively for me.
It's funny because it wasn't until I was older that I put it together, like drain the swamp. I'm like, oh, because it's an actual swamp.
Yep.
So
It's
that's so
literally a
smart.
swamp. So now, speaking of, did you find it weird that the Republican Party cannot seem to condemn a man who broke the collarbone of his 2-year-old daughter because it would cost him a seat in the House?
Allegedly broke the collarbone. Yeah, really gross. And accidentally published naked photos of her online.
Okay, now see that one, I'm gonna let slide because it was baby pictures, and he just did a huge dump in his lawyer, and his lawyer just wasn't looking, and they dumped that shit online because they're stupid. So yeah, I'm gonna let that one slide. Shit happens in the middle of ugly divorces, but as far, I don't know, like the collarbone thing, not so
Crazy.
alleged. There's hospital records of that, and it's not really in dispute that he did it.
I think he blamed his ex-wife and said that she did it.
Oh, is that his new story?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I don't find it weird at all that the Republican Party is just kind of going la, 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 because they don't care. They don't give a shit. If there was actual video of him beating his kid, they would be like, well, the Bible says, the Bible says discipline your children.
Yes, what is it? Spare the rod or
yeah, spare the rod, spoil the child.
Spoil the child, yeah.
Yeah, there's no end of the depravity of these fucking people. None yes. Whatsoever.
We hate them.
Remember, everybody, both sides, y'all. Both sides.
Both sides.
All right. So this is the recording for August 6th, 2026, and we have a lot to get to on episode 108 of the Og Pod. Are we ready to do this?
No.
But we're doing it anyway, so let's get to it. It's time for the Oga Nation News Update.
Roar. Roar. Well, speaking of Republican depravity, move over Stephen Bannon and Alex Jones. Another alpha male MAGA activist appears to be stealing from the very people who support him.
What? No way.
Weird. So those of us who are chronically online know Nick Adams, whose real name is Nicholas Abadopoulos.
I have not heard that name in a really long time.
I feel like we talked about him on the pod one time because of something that he did at a car dealership.
Yeah, what was his thing again? What was he really well known other than being a misogynist?
Well, I'll get to that. He's known as the goober who's always sucking Trump's saggy balls in his social media posts and constantly complains about women, probably because they dry up like the Sahara Desert when he's around.
Is he the one that walks around calling himself an alpha male all the time?
Yes.
Was that his thing?
That's the guy.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I remember that now.
That's the guy. And in 2023, he had an absolute fucking meltdown over the possibility of Mars selling all female M&Ms.
For fuck's
sake. The candy that doesn't have a fucking gender because it's chocolate.
Yes. Oh no, my M&M will have a vagina.
I've never seen one of those before.
Yeah, I was saying, like, he would know what it would look like in real life anyway. So,
he's so ridiculous that he's almost a parody of incels.
I mean, they're a parody in and of themselves, so True. That takes a lot of effort.
So the Australian native has also made a name for himself in conservative circles for his alleged dedication to education. In 2016, Adams founded the Foundation for Liberty and American Greatness, or FLAG. Last year, Adams celebrated FLAG with Defense Secretary hormone therapy and other conservatives at the National Archives in D.C. The organization claimed that it had reached 2 million children with civics education since its founding. And Adams had a lot to celebrate because he raised more than $7 million with flags in the last 10 years. he was becoming a very wealthy immigrant off the tale that he was going to teach American children real history. We're just so grateful for him.
Oh my God.
But
Praise Jesus. Praise Jesus.
But all may not be as patriotic as it appears, because according to ProPublica, Adams, who was appointed by Trump in March as the special presidential envoy to American tourism, exceptionalism, and values, I almost couldn't get through it. Hasn't been educating many kids at all. This is from the ProPublica investigation. Quote, a review of Flag's finances, donor operations, and online donation network reveals a less celebratory picture. There is little evidence that the nonprofit has provided the civics education it claims. Oh, no.
No. What?
And Adams and his nonprofit have engaged in a pattern of questionable financial arrangements.
Well, that's a nice euphemism.
Including paying Adams and his mother more than half of its recent annual revenue, while raising much of its money through a sweepstakes operation that has promised donors a chance to win $1 million, a prize Flag's records show no evidence of ever paying.
Didn't Elon Musk do something similar?
Yes, with voters, and he claimed that like if you registered to vote that you could get $1 million. Then it turned out that he had picked the winner in advance.
Yeah. Like that's not how a sweepstakes works.
So the probe found that there is no expense in Flag's tax filing showing that it paid a single penny to schools, teachers, or educational distributors. The only tax filing that showed it paid anything towards its alleged mission to educate kids was in 2017, when the organization spent $26,925 on printing and student constitutions, and $5,670 on book donations, shipping, and supplies. That's it. And it's raised over $7 million.
So he spent so far, let's see, 27, 30, less than $33,000 of the $7 million.
That's correct.
Uh-huh.
And these are for tax filing. So you know that if he had spent the money, he would put it in the tax filing so that he could get write-offs.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Or it's a nonprofit, so I guess he doesn't need write-offs. He just needs to dupe people, and it's okay. When the Pentagon was asked about the dubious business practices of Hegseth's buddy, they declined to comment, except to say Adams still has the regime's support. And just to be perfectly clear, Adams is an immigrant who appears to be duping his followers into supporting a nonprofit that isn't doing what it claims it's doing. And while brown men are being murdered by ICE agents across the country for doing absolutely nothing, Adams is getting away with defrauding Americans. Has he committed a prosecutable crime? I have no idea, and ProPublica couldn't seem to find one either. Just a lot of like really shady business practices that might violate tax law, but it's unclear. And a legitimate DOJ would look into it. Sadly, we live in Trump's America where it's totally fine for rich conservatives to steal from us, but Hispanic men driving to work deserve to be shot in the chest and left to bleed to death in the streets. So.
I mean, we're going to discuss this later, right? In headlines, we're going to get into this, but the entire right is just one huge grift.
One huge grift.
It's all it is. They don't believe in anything else except making themselves rich at the expense of the people they're supposed to be representing and uplifting. That's it. It's just, how much money can I sucker out of these idiots?
No, and I mentioned Steve Bannon because remember he had that whole build the wall scheme?
Yep.
And he stole money from the
millions of dollars.
Yeah. And he bought like a private jet or a yacht, and was partying it up. And Trump
they can't stop themselves.
No, and then Trump pardoned him because it's fine to steal from MAGA.
All right, let us move on to our next story. Judge Janine Pirro, aka
I'm embarrassed to say I used to watch her television show.
Yeah, I never watched it, but aka Winebox is big trouble from her beloved daddy after
Not wine
dropping
box.
after dropping the charges against David Hearn, the ex-Olympian who was accused of vandalizing the reflecting pool. Now, if you don't recall, back in early July, Hearn pleaded not guilty to felony count of vandalism. The U.S. Attorney's Office in D.C. claimed the 67-year-old caused more than $1,000 worth of damage to the already falling apart reflecting pool by pulling up the liner at the bottom. And at this point, the liner was already peeling off, so it's a little unclear how he damaged something that was already peeling off, but whatever. Hearn disputed the allegation, saying he just put his hand in the water out of curiosity and touched the peeling paint. At the time the charges were filed, Weinbach claimed that it was a deliberate act. It seems that it wasn't so deliberate after all. On Friday, Piro's office moved to drop the charges against Hearn and admitted that Trump's $14 million renovation of the reflecting pool was absolute trash. In the court filing, the prosecutor said that they relied on early reports from the U.S. Park Service and the Department of Interior when indicting Hearn because it wasn't their fault. Don't blame us. This is from the filing. Quote, it was not until after the return of the indictment that the DOJ provided additional documents. Sure. Indicating that damage to the Lincoln Memorial Pool in June 2026 was a result of flawed installation by the contractor, Atlantic Industrial Coatings, AIC, and the rush to complete the project prior to events associated with the America 250 celebration in the week surrounding Independence Day 2026. Trump has since lost his fucking mind about this. In a post on his stupid little Truth Social blog, Echo Chamber, he wrote that he disagreed with Piro 100%. And he, quote, didn't know what she was thinking when she dropped the charges against the former Olympian. He claimed the damage to the reflecting pool was a, quote, pure case of vandalism, all in caps. While he was ranting, he admitted some of the issues with the paint job might have been a result of, quote, some contract difficulty, but he was super sure that the, quote, major damage was caused by vandals. And definitely not by the tires of his fucking motorcade that he drove over the pool while it was still drying, thus definitely ruining the fucking paint. But whatever, definitely vandals. Not him, though. In another post, Trump implored the American people to look at surveillance of the pool to see the, quote, materials being cut with a knife or a box cutter for all to see, which is amazing because there is, in fact, video. There's cameras pointing at the pool all the time. But Trump is clearly in the process, in the middle of sundowning again while he was writing that post because there's no fucking video that shows anyone using a knife or a box cutter to slash the liner of the pool. There are, however, pictures of the drained pool, and you can see those tire tracks. But Trump's a moron. Anyway, Democratic Representative Ted Lieu threatened Piro with an investigation over handling of Hearn's indictment, which is why she's trying so hard to blame everybody else. In a social media post, the House Judiciary Committee member accused her of trying to destroy the life of Hearn and charging him based on false evidence because they all knew it was a lie in the first place. He said, quote, this is a radical, unethical, and unconscionable behavior and promised Democrats would be investigating her. After the charges against Hearn were dropped, they dropped the charges against 3 more people that they just arrested for touching the paint or touching the water because this was a whole thing they were doing. They needed to spare Trump the embarrassment. So they were just trying to find someone, anyone that they could just hold up and say, look, this is the person that did it. These are the vandals. And they were looking to make an example of somebody. And this is where we come back to the thing that I've been talking about for a while. When this regime first got back into power and people were freaking out, right, that we were now a fascist country and it was all over, one of the things, and I said this way back when, one of the things I was not worried about or not as worried about was you can't do kangaroo court shit because you have to have kangaroo courts to do kangaroo court shit. You cannot walk into an American courtroom and say, this person walked into the White House and exploded a nuclear bomb. You have to have proof of it, right? If we look outside and see that Washington, D.C. still standing there and the White House still exists, no one's going to say, yeah, we're going to throw their entire family in jail because they're a nuclear terrorist. You can't do stuff like that here. You can get away with that in places like North Korea or Russia or China, where you could just walk into a courtroom, make up any fucking story you want, and the judge will say, yes, rubber stamp. Anything you say is true because you're the government and I have to do what you say. We don't do that here. Even Republican judges, most of them are going to say, you're going to have to give me some evidence here. You got to show me some evidence. If you're going to tell me this person did a crime, you have to provide some evidence of that. Otherwise, get the fuck out of my courtroom.
Right. We saw that after the January 6th insurrection. Or before it, I'm sorry, where they were claiming the election was stolen, and judges all over the country were like, can you show us some proof?
Yeah,
Nope.
Even Republican judges were like, yeah, I'm not throwing out the results of an election because you said so.
Yeah, actually, some of the harshest judges have been like Bush appointees.
Yeah, they're not like they're willing to destroy the rule of law in favor of deregulation and following the larger Federalist Society agenda. But when it comes to criminal law, like nuts and bolts criminal law, they will not throw that out of a window. They will not just go la 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 la. Sure, you're guilty of a crime. I don't really need evidence. The government said you're guilty. I don't care. They will not do that. Like we haven't seen that anywhere yet, where they're just like la la la. We don't care. We're just going to throw the book at you because Donald Trump said so. They will not do it. And that's been a huge stumbling block, a massive stumbling block for the regime. They desperately want to do this. They want to destroy the lives of all the people that the regime hates. But you can drag them into court and you can throw lots of legal bills at them, and the judges are going to be like, yeah, we're not throwing them in jail. We're not doing that. Sorry, that's not happening. If you want to prove them as part of a huge Antifa conspiracy, you actually have to prove they're part of a huge Antifa conspiracy. Now, this means that the Federal Society is going to have to go back to the drawing board. They've found judges who are willing to completely shit on the Constitution in order to advance corporate agenda, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now they're going to have to find judges who will also be willing to go along with kangaroo court level fascism, which is going to be much harder to do and take a lot longer. And honestly, they're running out of time because now Democrats and the rest of the country are very, very aware of how dangerous out of control courts can be. So I suspect that the Federal Society is going to get a lot more scrutiny than it has in the past. And, things are not going to go smoothly for them as they're used to. So we'll see. Now, one more thing, as we're on the topic of wasting taxpayer money, the regime finished another project last week.
It was the ugliest of them all.
Oh my God, it's so important. The renovation of Washington, D.C. Oh my goodness. The statues near the Lincoln Memorial have been covered with gold leaf. And oh my goodness. We paid a whopping $5.1 million to have this done. And it looks like absolute fucking shit. So, yeah.
They're so shiny.
Oh, yeah. It's just... Ugh. So the next thing you know, we're going to see Trump running around the Capitol gluing gold spray painted Home Depot appliques to government buildings because he's just obsessed with gold because it's what he thinks a rich person should be doing. He really is just a caricature of what a poor man thinks a rich man should be. He's just
It's true.
he's so fucking tacky.
I remember when his penthouse used to get so much attention because it was so gold.
Yeah, exactly. It's just he's a poor man's caricature of the rich. It's just tacky, and more fucking tacky. All right. Now before we move on to our next section, if you would like to throw us a small tip, I'm putting up the QR codes right now. If you'd be so very kind. We have PayPal and Venmo are up on the screen. We have no sponsors or advertisers, and we probably never will because we're just not cool enough. But we would appreciate anything you can send our way. $5, $10, we don't care. Anything you send our way can help. So
no sponsors or advertisers, but multiple college students.
Yep, exactly. So please be kind. All right, let us move on to our next segment. We live in the absolute stupidest timeline.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. May God have mercy on your soul.
What is that from?
Billy Madison.
Oh, that's right. I love Billy Madison. Old Adam Sandler. So good. So let's take a trip back in time to 2020 when Trump had protesters pepper sprayed and tear gassed so that he could take a photo across the street from the White House at the historic St. John's Church during
While
the
holding
BLM.
the book upside down.
Yeah. Well, during the BML posters and, as he just said, remember, that was the one where he was holding the Bible upside down.
I swear to God, he really is fucking Satan. He really is just the Antichrist.
Just really. And remember, he wanted to shoot the protesters at that point. But the person in charge of the military at the time, I can't remember, was like, no, that's a really bad idea.
Mark Milley.
Millie.
There it is.
Like Milli Vanilli. Well, one of the aides present was Max Miller. A year later, Trump endorsed Miller in his bid for a U.S. congressional seat in Ohio. That place where Jim Jordan is from and where he covered up the molestation of basketball players, football players, wrestlers.
Yeah, it was wrestlers.
The wrestlers. I had to run through all of the sports in my head. That state. So allegations that the Republican had a violent temper soon began leaking to the press. But Trump, of course, refused to withdraw his endorsement, and Miller won the seat.
Well, because being a violent psychopath is like a bonus. It's not a glitch. It's not a bug. It's a feature for Republicans.
That's true. Now he's up for re-election, and allegations of abuse are once again plaguing him. This time, they come from his ex-wife, Emily, and her father, GOP Senator Bernie Moreno. According to Emily, her ex held a gun to her head and threw boiling water at her. And then their 2-year-old recently suffered a broken collarbone, which initiated a police investigation. In court filings, Emily claimed that their daughter told her, "Daddy's house is scary." And a law enforcement officer noted, quote, "The bruising surrounding the clavicle fracture made the injury suspicious and that it resembled a handprint." Emily says that her ex, the congressman, broke their daughter's collarbone. She has repeatedly accused Miller of, quote, "dangerous physical behavior." And those allegations were supported by her father, Senator Moreno. In a social media post, the lawmaker said his ex-son-in-law, quote, "needs serious psychological help," and implored him to drop out.
You know what I find absolutely astonishing about that? Right? So
that he didn't speak out sooner?
Well, that and Republicans like Moreno, right? All they ever talk about is how tough they are and how manly they are and how,
that he didn't beat his ass.
I honestly, if someone laid their hands on my daughter or my granddaughter, even like broke her bone, you don't think I would show up with a fucking baseball bat? It's like, yeah, I'm gonna have to hurt you now. And if you come near them again, I'm going to have to kill you. It's that fucking simple. It's like, I'm going to break your kneecaps. Which one do you want shattered? You know, it's like, I'm a man. I'm a masculine man. I'm so manly. I'm a Republican. But as soon as your fucking daughter starts getting beaten and your granddaughter literally has broken bones, it's like, they need psychological help, but I'm not actually going to do anything to intervene. It's like, really? What happened to being the fucking alpha male? What happened to those, nothing. Absolutely fucking nothing. Just stood by and let it happen. It's like, oh my God, I would fucking kill somebody if they touched Anastasia or Lila like that.
Yeah.
But nothing. These people are just fucking cowards. They're cowards on every, professionally, personally, like with their own family. They're just fucking cowards.
I agree. Well, Miller, like a typical Republican, has refused to leave the race. Not only has he said he won't be dropping out, but he claimed the real abuser is his ex-wife. He went on Twitter Live for half an hour on Sunday morning, where he was slurring his words while he ranted, and blamed her for all kinds of things, and did a document dump, which is where we were talking about. He did a document dump to prove, quote unquote, that his ex-wife was the one who was violent. And in that document dump that he posted online to prove that his ex-wife was violent was the picture of his daughter's genitals. So, yeah, you know. And while the evidence against him is compelling, to say the least, the Republican Party is largely silent, once again proving that they don't give a single fuck about women and children. And the media is letting them get away with it, even though Graham Plattner was the top story for days and weeks when he faced accusations of abuse and rape. Once again, the press has proven that Republicans are not held to a lower standard. They are held to no standard at all.
And he has a restraining order against him from Stephanie Grisham. Someone from Trump's first
I know who you're talking about. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, you know, it's not like this is happening in a vacuum. It's not like it's just his wife and it's just maybe a he said, she said. It's an ugly. No, there's another woman saying, no, I need a fucking restraining order because I can't have him near me. He's dangerous. So, and the press, now it's really important to understand just how fucking insane the media's behavior here is. When Grant Plattner was initially accused of being threatening towards his partners and grabbing one of them so hard he left a bruise, he was never accused of physically assaulting them, and the press lost its fucking mind, right? They went nuclear when he was accused of rape. But now we have now, mind you, I am not defending Grant Plattner because fuck that guy. But now we have a Republican who's credibly accused of breaking his baby daughter's collarbone, throwing boiling water at his wife's face, and holding a gun to her head. He literally broke the bones of a baby. And at the very least, the press should be treating this with the same approximate level of outrage. But they're not, because Miller's a fucking Republican. And I promise you, if this was a Senate seat instead of a House seat, and it was a seat that Democrats were threatening to flip, this story would still be fucking buried until after the election. We wouldn't 100%. Even be, we definitely would not be fucking hearing about this, because the reason the Plattner story became so large is because it helped Republicans. If it had been a House seat, it wouldn't have been such a big story. They wouldn't have made such a fucking big deal about it, because it would have just been a House seat and Republicans are going to lose the House, so who cares? But it was a Senate seat, and it made it more likely that the Republicans would keep the Senate. So they made it a huge fucking story. Now, this is a Republican, and they're just like, nah, do we really have to make a big story about a Republican breaking a kid's bones? And the legacy press is so fucking complicit with keeping Republicans power whenever they can. It's just obscene at this point. And when this is all over, when the regime falls and, order is restored again, and the law it takes fucking precedent again. The legacy press, these people need to be fucking investigated along with regime, because enough of this bullshit. The Germans and the French, they hung journalists who worked with the Nazis. Just saying. Just putting that out there. All right. Let us move on.
So if you haven't been paying close attention, the regime is continuing its ongoing project of widespread historical revision. Trump won the 2020 election, y'all. Definitely. January 6th was a hoax.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
White men are a persecuted minority in America.
Why?
Joe Biden.
Why me?
Joe Biden is old, and he and Anthony Fauci are to blame for COVID. If y'all are a little fuzzy on how that works when Trump was president when COVID hit, well, you're not really cut out to be a Republican. Sorry. Don't worry, though. Secretary Raccoon Penis went on CNN to foam at the mouth about it, yelling and ranting at Dana Bash about how the press is engaged in, quote, absolute press malpractice. Not for allowing a wife beater to get away with it, but, you know, by refusing to, I don't know, something, question authority. And Captain Toilet Seat Coke pushed a litany of debunked garbage about the COVID vaccine and Dr. Fauci.
Yeah, Worm Boy was obviously told to push the party line, and that the hundreds of thousands who died because of COVID died later under Biden somehow.
Sure. Yep.
Which is not how that happened. Kennedy literally said, and I quote, "There were ICUs that were empty all across the country, including in New York at the height." Now, Maria and Jenny, these are my donor mothers, right? They lived with Kyle, my son, in Queens when COVID hit. And I remember them telling me they could hear the ambulances constantly going back and forth to the hospital in Elmhurst, which was like the epicenter when COVID was at its peak in New York City. And Elmhurst got slammed hard, and that went on for weeks.
Yeah.
FEMA had to send freezer trucks to store hundreds of dead bodies because they couldn't fit them in the morgue anymore.
My cousin is a physician, and she was working at Grady Memorial in Atlanta during the pandemic, and she was watching people die every day, and she was like a new doctor.
Ooh, that must have been scarring.
Yeah.
But yeah, we all saw it on the news. We all saw it happening in real time. But fascism works to destroy reality because reality is lethal to fascism. It's quite literally what Orwell wrote about in 1984. And Kennedy can fuck himself forever for doing this. He knows he's lying because he lived through it too. He knows what happened, and he knows when it happened. Even if his brain's been eaten by a worm, he still knows what fucking happened. But he's doing it because it advances his anti-vaxxer and eugenics cause. And this is why we live in the stupidest fucking timeline. All right. It is time to move on to headlines for short attention spans. Let me just change the codes again. Yada, yada, yada. Boop. Boop.
We have Honey Badger in the chat.
Honey Badger don't give a fuck. All right. One of Trump's many, many lawsuits against Capital One for closing the Trump organization's bank accounts in 2021. Eric Trump, the president organization, had filed a lawsuit against the bank in March 2025, alleging the accounts were closed because they were trying to benefit politically from the aftermath of the January 6th insurrection, blah, blah, blah.
But I thought Antifa did that.
Who knows? It was FBI. Who knows? We can't tell. They change the story like every 3 weeks. A federal court threw out 2 of Trump organization's complaints, but let the company file amended complaints. Capital One responded on Friday saying the latest lawsuit suffers from the same fundamental flaws as the prior complaints and called the allegations based on cherry-picked quotes that lacked context. The response also contained a bombshell, which would have been nice to know about previously. According to the bank, They made the decision to close the Trump Organization's accounts after conducting a money laundering probe. What? The Trump Organization engaged in money laundering? Not Donald Trump. No way. While the bank didn't outright accuse the Trumps of laundering money, lawyers for Capital One did state, quote, documents and plaintiffs' own allegations make clear that Capital One closed plaintiffs' accounts for anti-money laundering reasons. The closure is a result of months of analysis and a careful review by Capital One's AML team in accordance with bank policies and regulatory guidance. In other words, the Trumps shot themselves in the dick by filing the suit because all they've done is prove their organization is the criminal organization we all thought it was all along. Shock!
Well, in more Trump corruption news, the DOJ has once again subpoenaed the records of a journalist. This time they're big mad at a freelancer who contributed to a 2025 story about a 2019 botched military operation. According to the New York Times story, SEAL Team 6 tried to plant listening devices on a beach in North Korea to intercept communications from Kim Jong-un about his ongoing negotiations with Donald Trump at the time.
Oh, yeah, I remember this.
The mission failed and led to the deaths of unarmed North Korean civilians. I believe they were fishermen. Freelancer Matthew Cole was actually subpoenaed earlier this year, I think in January or February, and told to turn over 2 years' worth of notes and give testimony in the leak case. Now, this is not the first time the regime has gone after journalists and publications for writing embarrassing stories about them. So far, the press has been able to fight back and not give them what they want, but it's clear that Trump is going to continue to try. And while the regime attacks the First Amendment, mainstream media pundits would like you to know that Biden is super old and Democrats are in disarray ahead of the midterms. And Abdul Saeed, is that his name?
Yes.
Is a socialist.
And also, I can't help but think if I were to go onto Twitter or Substack right now and check on Glenn Greenwald and Matt Taibbi, you know, the greatest defenders of the First Amendment in all of American history, I feel like they wouldn't have anything to say about this.
Weird. Probably not.
It's so strange. So odd. Anyway, close personal friends of the pod, the Young Turks, are getting awfully close to putting on their red cap of patriotism. Very excited about that.
He has a real feud with Cenk Uygur. Well, at this point, it's a one-sided feud, but it used to be, it was back in the day two-sided. Like he actually was calling Ogre out by name.
Oh yeah, no, Cenk Uygur is a huge fan of mine. Yes, so Cenk Uygur and Anna Kasparian of the Young Turks have been on a journey of discovery these past several years. They've discovered that being a progressive is really boring, but white nationalist fascism, that sounds kind of fun and also super profitable.
Very profitable.
Oh yeah, like Anna, for instance, has been anti-trans, anti-vax, anti-homeless, and now she's really, really angry at Anthony Fauci at the same exact time Republicans are making Fauci a thing again. And it sure is weird how super duper progressive Anna Kasparian of the super more progressive than you fucking corporate centrist whore, Democratic whore, just happens to be pushing Republican talking points at this exact moment. So weird. And then there's Cenk, really close personal friend, and he really did spend 15 minutes or so on his show screaming about me personally by name because I am a centrist establishment whore. And Cenk wants you to know that he's sick and tired of Ukraine making such a huge fuss and causing so much trouble. What the fuck, guys? Why can't they just settle down and make peace or something? Oh, wait. Cenk really understands. He knows why Ukraine's still fighting. The Jews, of course. And I really wish I was making this up. Honestly, it's fucking crazy. I'm going to play this clip because it's so fucking unhinged. I cannot do it justice. So give me a second here.
Always the Jews.
Oh, yeah, it's always the Jews.
that Ukraine has now become basically Israel. Now, why do I say that? We're a rare show that talks about this phenomenon. It's really important. Remember, Russia was helping Iran and Syria. Israel needed Russia distracted so they could topple Bashar al-Assad. Oh wait, that happened, didn't it?
It did, yeah.
During the Ukraine-Russia war. And that Iran couldn't be helped when Iran was attacked. Oh right, that also happened during the Ukraine-Russia war. So Ukraine and Israel working together to keep Russia busy so that Israel can attack its neighbors and take more territory. So before that was apparent to people who were paying attention. Now it's more than apparent, it's obvious because Ukraine is literally joining the war and attacking Iran, right?
Yes.
What?
Yeah. That's absolutely fucking unhinged. Completely and totally unfucking hinged. Hold on, let me shut that off so you don't echo. There we go. What he's talking about is that Ukraine attacked an Iranian ship, or an Iranian ship that was delivering weapons to Russia.
Were they supposed to just let them deliver Russian weapons?
And that's the thing. That's the thing, right? It's like, do you not, like, sure, you don't necessarily want them expanding the zone, like who they're attacking, blah, blah, blah. But if someone's sending them weapons, is sending weapons to the country that's attacking them, that kind of makes them an open target. It's like, yeah, we don't have to sit there and let you send them weapons. That's too fucking bad for you. You're sending the people who are killing us weapons. That makes you a target, buddy. And if you don't want us to shoot at you, don't send the people shooting us weapons. And now, a year ago, they probably wouldn't have done that, right? But here they are. They're in the middle of a war with the United States. They're not going to sit back and go, well, okay, well, they're already in the middle of war with the United States. Of course we're going to fucking shoot them now. They're already at war with the United States. What's the risk here? They're going to start a war with the United States? No, they're already at fucking war. They're not going to shoot at, if China was sending Russia weapons, they're not going to shoot at a Chinese boat. But they're obviously going to shoot it on an Iranian boat. And, so now the amazing thing about that clip is how he just erases the fact that Russia is the one that invaded Ukraine and started the war. And
I fucking hate when it's called the Russian-Ukrainian war. It's the Russian war on Ukraine.
Yeah, it's Russia invaded Ukraine. Ukraine is fighting back against an invasion of their fucking country. It's not like they're at war with each other. Russia's in their country and they're trying to fight and push them out. And it's just, they just erased it. Like somehow Ukraine is somehow responsible for this. And they have somehow any responsibility for what's happening in their country other than we're going to kill the people who are invading our country. That's right. As far as their responsibility goes. It's like, how is this a problem? Like, do they not have the right to do this? And if you're fucking with them, well, then they get to shoot at you. And the fact that now it's Israel's fault, that the Jews are somehow to blame for this, as if this would not be a legitimate target. Otherwise, it has to somehow be the fault of the Jews. It's just pure fucking hate. It's just, they're no longer talking to an audience of progressives. They're talking to an audience of racist white nationalists who hate Jewish people. That's what they're doing here. And that's what they've been doing for a very long fucking time. Because the Young Turks, remember, the Young Turks was huge on Russian TV way back in the day. And the alt-left, of which Young Turks is a part of, they've been pro-Russian since the invasion started. Like, the alt-left is they're just fucking tankies, right? These are the people who want Russia to win. because it hurts the United States. That's their whole thing. And I've noticed in the last couple of weeks, or the last couple of months, that there's been an awful lot of talk about World War III again now that Russia's losing. How, oh, we have to stop the war because, oh, it's going to kick off World War III. There was a guy a couple of years ago. He was a hardcore far left tanky guy. Not far left. He was alt left. He was, he was a fucking right winger pretending he was a leftist. And he spent a lot of time screaming about how Ukraine, we can't help Ukraine. We can't help Ukraine because it's going to start World War III, blah, blah, blah. If we keep doing this, it's going to start World War III. And it was like, you're pro-Russian. All you're doing is talking about that you're pro-Russian, that you want Russia to win, because if we don't let Russia win, it's going to start World War III. That's all he was talking about. And he hated the United States, and he hated Democrats more than Republicans, and yada, yada, all of that. And I'm starting to hear that again once Russia started to lose. Like decisively, they're starting to lose this war. And now we're back to the World War III stuff from the far left, the fake far left. And that's all this is.
And as we're approaching the election, you guys might notice a lot of, if they support AIPAC, they can't be a part of the Democratic Party. We have to whatever. And that is so fucking damaging to our party.
And that's the point.
Not
right?
that we give a flying... We agree that AIPAC sucks because they have turned into... Back in the day, they used to just be supportive of Jewish people, but now they are absolutely like pro-Russian.
They're the
pro-Israeli government.
They're the PR wing of the Israeli government.
They've turned into the PR wing of the Israeli government, and it's disappointing. But to make that the red line is so fucking stupid. It's just reminiscent of 2016. Like, hey, we have a big tent party, guys. Sometimes people are going to support things that we don't support. Does that mean that we don't want to elect Democrats? Does that mean that we should elect a fucking Republican instead? We all saw how that went in 2016. What was the red line in 2016? I can't remember. It was if they support.
I mean, wasn't it just Hillary?
Yeah, it was just Hillary. Like,
it's like I can't support if you don't support Bernie. I won't vote. It's like,
and they didn't. And look at what happened. And we said, guys, please don't do that. Please don't do that because the Supreme Court is up. I'm
sorry.
Risk
I'm sorry. The AIPAC is a rat fucking operation. If all you care about is AIPAC, other than you are a rat. Because if you spent all of last year not screaming at the Republican Party and the Trump regime about Gaza, but all of a sudden right now AIPAC is your red line.
Yeah,
you don't actually give a shit about Gaza. You give a shit about making sure Republicans win, and you can go fuck yourself.
We haven't heard about Gaza in the last 2 years. I mean, we have made it a point to talk about it because, the far right Israeli government is committing genocide. But these people on the fucking far left have not been talking about Gaza for the last couple of years, and now all of a sudden Gaza is of the utmost importance again. Come the fuck on, guys. We see what's happening here.
Yeah, this is just Jill Stein shit. This is just only pop up. If it's only important when there's an election, then it's not actually important to you. It's only important as a weapon, as a cudgel. It's only important as a cudgel to use against Democrats, which means you're not arguing good faith. You're arguing to keep Republicans in power. Because once the election's over, you're going to stop talking about AIPAC again. You're going to be quiet for the next year.
Right. And there are people like Ogre and I who have been talking about the Israeli government for the last 15 years. Who have been ranting about the Israeli government for the last 15 years. And now suddenly we have like this new crop of Democrats who only care about AIPAC and they're using it to fuck the election. So please miss me with that fucking bullshit.
Yeah, it's
miss me with the fucking bullshit.
I see you for the rat fuckers you are. And people get really mad at me when I keep pointing it out. It's like, but I see you. You have a fucking tail. You have a tail, you have fucking little rat ears. I see you. You're not clever. You're not clever. You're super fucking obvious what you're doing. Even if you think you're being clever, you're not. I have this fucking guy, he's on my page right now. All his entire fucking fucking Substack profile is complaining about Democrats and APAC. It's like, do you not think I see you? Do you not think you're super fucking obvious? He doesn't actually post anything. All he does is comment on other people's pages and other people's threads about how much he hates Democrats and how much genocide this and how much Gaza that and how much APAC this. And it's like, do you ever actually talk about Republicans? Ever? And he's like, why not? Why would I? It's like, because they're the ones in charge and they're the ones who are enabling the genocide you're pretending to care about. Why wouldn't you? And
right, and also, what are you actually doing? If you care that much, what are you doing to help the situation? What are you doing to help Palestinians in America?
Yeah, it's like, you don't care about Palestinians. You just care about getting Democrats out of office so Republicans can stay in power. You're a rat fucker. So, all right.
Whew, yes.
Yep.
So fuck you guys.
Now let us move on to the next thing, which is
speaking of Iran, less than 2 weeks after resuming his moron war against Iran, Trump is back to claiming that Iran is begging him for a deal, except they're not at all. Trump is the one who's begging for the deal because the new wave of missiles and bombs didn't do a goddamn thing except spike the price of oil and make us look weak because A, Iran didn't budge an inch, and B, we couldn't keep up the attacks or adequately defend ourselves from Iran's cheap drones and missiles. Now, this was in the news the other day, and I literally saw it, shook my head, and I was like, oh, we're going to have to talk about this. And it's just so stupid. I can't even. Are we at war? Are we not at war? Are we at war? Are we not at war? Are we at war? Are we not at war? I don't know. I don't know. I can only tell by what the gas prices look like. Now the regime is claiming that we're just days away from a new agreement, and it's all but guaranteed that Iran will have full control over the Strait of Hormuz, which is extra funny since nobody had control over it before. And we have absolutely 100% lost this war. The only thing left is for Mr. Art of the Deal to sign a piece of paper making it official and then claim that it was the greatest American military victory in all of history. But we're never going to recover from this humiliation.
It's just, it's unfucking believable. You know what I'm concerned about, and I probably should write an article about this. I'm concerned that when the reason we lost is because we have an idiot for president and an idiot for secretary of defense.
Mm-hmm.
If we had really wanted to go in and crush Iran, we could have, right? It would have been very expensive in terms of, lives and people, lives and money, but we could have done it. But, we didn't want to do it that way, but we could have done that. If
I'm sorry, I just can't get over the fact that we went in wanting a regime change, and the only thing that we did was make it more radical and younger.
I know. But what I'm concerned about is that once we have a real government back, right? And we still have the most dangerous military in the world. I know everyone's just like, oh, that's a paper tiger. It's like, yeah, no, this isn't Russia. We're not Russia. The Russian military was underfunded, undertrained, right? And their equipment was shitty because of corruption. That is not the case with the United States. What I'm concerned about is that once we have a real leadership again, is that all these little bullshit dictator countries are going to be, well, the United States can't do anything, can't stop us now, and they're going to do something. And then we're going to be forced to go in there and be like, yeah, actually, no, that was when the morons were in charge. But that's not the case anymore. And we're here now. And we're going to do very terrible fucking things to you. And we're going to have to prove a point. You know? And that concerns me. because there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be like, oh, no, we can do anything we want. The United States isn't, they're not dangerous. And we're going to have to start putting our foot down in places that we wouldn't normally have to do that because, people used to be afraid of us and now they're not. And then we're going to have to go and do shit that we shouldn't have to have had done.
I actually, the thing that I've noticed is that we went to war in the early 2000s after September 11th, right? And we lost those wars. We had some success in Iraq, but we did not have any success in Afghanistan.
But we killed hundreds of thousands of people in the process.
Lots of them, and spent and thousands of our own people. I mean, I've talked about it before, but my friend died in Iraq. He was 19 years old. I spent my 19th birthday at his funeral. My brother was in the military. He's 100% disabled now. He was in 82nd Airborne. He lost a lot of friends. A lot of friends. And he's lost even more since leaving the military because they've killed themselves. But we've had all of these military conflicts, and let's say like the last 50 years, Vietnam, we fucked up there. The Gulf War was, I guess successful. We were involved in South America, and we fucked up there. We were involved in Iraq and Afghanistan. We fucked up there. Then we got involved in Syria, and look at that hot mess. And now we're involved in Iran. And the thing is like we keep getting involved in all of these conflicts because we have some kind of goal, and then we never meet our goals. And I know that Trump has made us look weak, but I would argue that we've looked weak for the last 50 years. And we're just weaker now because of him.
But we've also, well, I mean, Karen says that Trump and MAGA have completely destabilized the planet. Yes, but we also destabilized regions. And that also, I mean, while we didn't succeed, destabilizing regions also worked to our advantage, which,
agree.
You destabilize the region, now it's less of an issue for us, in terms of political power, and, we can swoop in and do it. I mean, it's imperial shit, right? It's empire shit. You destabilize the region and then you can kind of impose your will on it. So in that sense, we didn't fulfill our goals, but we definitely destabilized large chunks of the planet bit by bit.
I mean, yes. I mean, we did that in the South America, right? And then what ended up happening as a result? Mass migration to the United States. And now, 40 years later, we're seeing the results of that.
But even that worked out for us because we got lots and lots of cheap labor, which I'm
Free
sure.
Labor. I agree. It's just not working out for the people. We fucked them once, and now we're fucking them again.
Right, but I mean, only because Republicans decided that would be useful for political purposes to go full white nationalist. But in terms of economics, it worked out great for us. We got lots and lots of cheap labor. Hooray for corporations! But like in terms of just the stabilization, we're very good at doing that, and we don't. I'm just worried that we're going to go out and do that a lot more. Not in the way we're doing it in the Middle East right now, because that's not working for us.
Yeah.
But, we do have a habit of going out there and it's like, well, we have to show everybody that we're in charge still.
We have a big stick.
Yeah, exactly. Like Trump did not show we have a big stick. Previous presidents have been able to show we do have a very big stick. Even if we're not good at swinging it, we're still good at smashing the China shop.
It's big, but he don't know how to use it.
Yeah, exactly. Trump has never known how to use his fucking stick. And also he has a tiny one. But still. All right. Let us move on.
Going.
Yeah, we
could keep going.
Let's move on here. We have the LOL of the week. Trump is very sad that no one wants to. Speaking of the immigration, no one wants to talk about the border anymore, which he's managed to close the border. Like net immigration is down. Like we have very few immigrants coming into the country. They have managed to mostly seal the border.
Mm-hmm.
Legal immigration from the South is almost zero because white nationalism and racism.
So as visitors, like my family's not even coming here to visit.
Exactly. Now, what's hilarious about this is that Trump is bitching that the country only has a 2-week memory. The public only has a 2-week memory, which, if you recall, Trump used to use that a lot because he would say, well, we're going to do that in 2 weeks. We're going to do it in 2 weeks because he knew the news cycle would move on by then and no one would ever think about it. It's like, oh, we'll have a healthcare plan in 2 weeks. Oh, we're going to do this in 2 weeks. And then 2 weeks later, it would be like 20 other things. And no one would ask about the thing that he said he would do in 2 weeks. He used to use that to his advantage constantly. And now that fact that he's complaining about it is fucking hilarious.
Right. Flooding the zone was his political strategy.
Now, he's not wrong. No one wants to talk about the border anymore because the border isn't an issue. They can't do caravans coming to the border because the caravans aren't going to get through. They've militarized the border. They've made sure no caravans are getting through the border. They can't talk about a huge flood of fentanyl coming over the border because they closed the border. They've militarized it so heavily, nothing's getting over. They can't complain about
been coming that way anyway. So
yeah, they can't complain about massive drugs coming over. That aren't you doing your job there? You said you're going to close the border. That's your whole thing. So what Trump has discovered is the reason Republicans for decades have never lifted a finger to solve any of the culture war issues that they fearmonger about. Because once you deal with the culture war issue, the issue goes away. I mean, this is kind of the thing about abortion. If they were to actually make abortion completely illegal, hold on. Okay, sorry. Yeah, if they were to make abortion illegal and actually make it disappear, it disappears as an issue and you can't fundraise off it anymore. You can't fearmonger on it anymore.
Right. And the one issue voters who are going out to vote, the evangelical Christians who are going out to vote to make abortion illegal, aren't going to go out to vote anymore.
Right. And they stop paying attention because that was their one issue. So all of your little white nationalists who were like, oh my God, I'm so terrified of the border. Oh, border's closed? Okay. And they just wander off and they don't care anymore. So, haha, dumbass. Okay.
Good Lord.
I'd love that for them.
let's wrap up headlines with some good news. The website 50+1. These are people from 538 who no longer associate with the aggrieved white boy Nate Silver. God, I remember when I used to love Nate Silver. They've put the Democrats taking of the House to 85%, the Senate 55%. And if the economy tanks before the midterms, which Trump's ongoing buffoonery makes it more than likely, those numbers will shift significantly in our favor. That's very good news. There are 6 Senate seats that we can flip: Alaska, Iowa, Texas, Maine, North Carolina, and Ohio. That would mean that Fetterman could fuck off when he flips parties, like we all know that he plans to do. If Democrats have a 1-seat majority, Fetterman is my biggest disappointment. I'm almost as disappointed in Fetterman as I was in Kristen Sinema. Like, we went so hard for these motherfuckers, and look at them.
Yep.
All of those seats are moving in our direction, and Trump, his moron war, and his crumbling economy are albatrosses on all of them. It's going to be a really rough November for fascism when the blue wave sweeps the entire country. And if you're in one of those states, please fucking vote and bring people to vote and have them bring people to vote.
Exactly. One last bit of good news here. Politico posted and wrote an article about Republicans having a groiper problem. Broke my heart. I was so sad about this. If you're not familiar with what a groiper is, that's the name for the followers of Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes, if you don't recall that name, is a neo-Nazi, is a little weasel neo-Nazi who's got a huge following, because of course he does.
And he really, really, really hated Charlie Kirk.
Oh yeah, big time. So basically, what's happening here, I wrote about this and I saw this and I was just laughing because I wrote about this 3 years ago. What's going on here, and I wrote about this on Monday again because I was taking a little victory lap. Tee-hee. What's happening here is the elders in the party, right? The grown-ups in the Republican Party are looking at the incoming younger Republicans. And when I wrote about this in 2023, I was writing about college campus Republican parties. What the problem is that Donald Trump has taught an entire generation, going on 2, of Republicans that the only thing that's important is you, not the party, not the Republican agenda, not conservatism. The only thing that's important is making yourself
Aggrandizing.
Yes, thank you. And getting rich. That's all that's important. Nothing else matters. It doesn't matter not working as a team, not taking one for the group and getting ahead. And it's just about self improvement, putting money in your pocket, and fuck everybody else, including your own people. Nothing else matters. And they've learned this from Trump. Backstabbing your own teammates is perfectly acceptable as long as it puts money in your pocket and you get more likes on social media. So that is not a long-term that's not long-term longevity. That's not longevity for a political party. That's a death sentence. That's cancer. That's a parasite eating itself. And they're looking at these incoming Republicans and saying, what the fuck are we going to do with this? How do we survive this? These guys don't know how to do the work. They don't understand anything. They only understand how to go online, how to self-promote themselves, and how to grift. And there's none of them have any interest in anything beyond that. And all I can do is look at that and laugh and laugh and laugh, because you know what party doesn't have that problem? Democrats. We don't have that problem. We don't have a Groyper problem. Even if you go, oh, woe is me, the Democratic Socialists are taking over the party. So what? You know what Democratic Socialists don't do? They don't stab each other in the back and only work to self-enrich themselves. That's not how that works. I mean, not for nothing. Look at AOC and Zohran Mamdani. They're not lining their own pockets and telling everyone else to fuck off while just doing self-promotion and getting rich. They're actually doing the work, and not for nothing, New York City's doing really, really well under Mamdani. And he's not just there for his own gain. So clearly, the Democrats don't have this problem. This is a them problem, not an us problem. They're literally cannibalizing themselves because that's what they learned. They learned it from watching you. They learned it from watching Trump. And there's nothing they can do to stop it now. It's too late for them. They've destroyed the entire incoming generation, and probably the next one too.
Yep. And Trump doesn't give a shit.
Of course not. And the next person whoever replaces him isn't going to be much better. And this is the end. This is the end of the line for libertarianism. This is where it leads. And I could have told them that a decade ago. If it's all about me, 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 and no us, 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 you don't have a party. But that's what they wanted to do, because greed is good leads to destruction. And here we are. And it's fucking amazing. So invest in popcorn futures, because, oh man, we're going to need so much of it.
Well, on to self-care of the week. I didn't talk about this last week, but my oldest son got his MCAT scores back, and he did extremely, extremely well.
Woo!
If you recall, he took the MCAT last summer, and he wasn't really happy with his score. He got a 511 out of a 527 back then, so he was like somewhere in the 80th percentile. I know. I was like, why would you take it again? He's like, oh, I just got to get a couple more points, right? He was aiming for 3 points. Well, he took it again. He got a 517 out of a 528. He's in the 95th percentile. Which means that he can apply at any medical school he wants to, including the Ivies.
Ooh, fancy.
Right. I was, however, very disturbed when he mentioned the University of Miami because it has a great orthopedic program and he wants to be an orthosurgeon. Now, as a mom, I understand that the school has a winning D1 football team. They were in the championship this year against Indiana. And I also understand that they have a partnership with the Miami Dolphins organization. In the school, there's a partnership between them and the school. So that could present opportunities for, an aspiring surgeon. However, as a Buffalo Bills fan, I would like to vomit. If I ever catch my kid wearing a dolphin of any kind, I will fucking disown him. Because, ew, we come out of our mother's wombs saying, squish the fish. It is the Buffalo Bills rivalry of generations. I know, guys, that I gave birth to him here. I understand. I understand that my parents moved me here. And I never left. I get it. I know. So I gave birth to a Floridian. I get it. But the idea of my child going down to Miami and working with the fucking Dolphins? Oh my God. Put a knife through my heart. I don't know what I'll do.
The betrayal. The betrayal.
Fortunately, he hasn't started applying to med schools yet. Because he's going to take a gap year, which I understand because he's been going 100 miles an hour since he was 11 years old to get where he is now. So he's going to take a gap year. He's going to work and he's going to, make sure that his application is absolutely perfect. So I still have time to point him towards New York. But I don't know, because if he goes to New York City and he's suddenly a New Jersey Jets fan, I don't know what I'll do then either. So I don't know how to solve this problem.
When you're a red jet, you're a red jet. Oh, sorry, different jets. All right. So Otakon went really well this weekend. That was the big convention that I spent the weekend at. The girls had a lot of fun, and Kyle really enjoyed his first convention. If you recall, I flew him and one of his mommies up from Florida to go to his first convention for his 13th birthday. If you guys don't know who Kyle is, remember he had a donor baby about 13 years ago. Yepers.
His best friends wanted to have a baby and he provided the sperm. And I really wish he had the articles from back at that time because he literally wrote about the journey, including, and the,
Yep, the sperm donation thing was very funny. The sperm donor chronicles was very funny
because they didn't go to like a donation center; they did it at the house.
Yep, in a cup.
In a cup.
A syringe.
It was very interesting. Turkey basting the shit out of that. And hello, Kyle.
So Kyle was worried that no one was going to cosplay as any of the characters from the game he was dressed as. It's called Deltarune, or that no one was going to recognize him. But not only did a bunch of people know exactly who he was, but a shit ton of other people were cosplaying the same game, and at least a dozen other people were dressed as the same character.
That's really cool.
Yeah, there was an entire photo shoot for it. And he ate that up with a spoon. And it was his first time he'd done anything like that. So he was thrilled. And happy birthday, Kyle. Now, Now, Lila leaves for college next Friday. So that's been a good excuse to spend whatever time we can together, like taking all of us, including her girlfriend June, who's also leaving to the same college next Friday, to Hot Pot for dinner Tuesday. We were recording this on Wednesday, so it was last night. Now, Claudia, Lila, and June have done this before, and the rest of us had not. We've never done Hot Pot before. So we let Lila walk us through it, and it was great. We had a great time. Anastasia loved it. She had a fantastic time, but it was a lot of fun. It was this is when basically they put out like 2 different flavors of broth and boiling broth, and you take the meat and you dip it in it to cook it. It's like raw meat and you dip it in. It's like very very thinly sliced, and you dip it in to cook it, and you put in vegetables. You can put in ramen noodles to cook it, and it was just a huge amount of fun. Very, very tasty, but also wildly expensive. I knew it was not going to be cheap, but I did not realize how expensive it was going to be until they handed us the bill, because they don't really tell you how much it's going to cost beforehand. I don't think they rely a whole lot on repeat customers, because they really kind of, hide the total cost. But still,
Thank God you had the money for it.
well, I had leftover money from the convention, like a chunk of it. That was the end of the convention money. So, but still, it was a lot of fun and it was worth it. And then I took the girls out and we got, cake at a bakery afterwards. But we're having white people taco night. And that's going to be our last time that we can get together, because Lila's busy the rest of the week until we drive her to school on Friday. And then that's going to be it. She's going to be gone. She's going to be away at school, and I'm going to be having a lot of feelings about that.
You'll be fine. It's fine.
Will I, though?
You will. You'll be fine. I survived. And my child literally came out of my body.
My goodness.
and I nursed him. You'll be okay.
Okay. All right. That is it for today's show. The Opinionated Ogre podcast, like the newsletter, is free and 100% supported by you, our amazing audience. We have no advertisers or sponsors, so please consider becoming a paid subscriber for only $5 a month or just $50 a year. If you would prefer a one-time donation, we now have a PayPal and Venmo button for your convenience. Or you can just scan the barcodes that are on your screen right now. Help others join the Ogre Nation conversation by joining the OgPod on the social media platform of your choice, or giving us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening. You can find me at The Opinionated Ogre on Substack, Blue Sky, and also on TikTok. Florida Woman, where can our beloved audience find you?
You can find me at the Florida Woman Rant on Substack and TikTok.
Amazing. The next Blue Wave is coming. November 3rd, 2026. Just 88 days until we storm the beaches and stomp the Nazis into the dirt. They cannot stop us. Remember, you are never alone. We beat the fascists once, and we will fucking do it again. Adios.
Adios.
All right. Next week, we are going to record on Tuesday, I believe.
Tuesday.
Yes. We're recording on Tuesday. The podcast will still be released on Thursday. And we'll see you guys later.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Yeah, I see. Yeah, apparently Deltarune's like a big, huge deal, Patrick.
I have no idea what it is.
I know Undertale, which is like the prequel. Deltarune's like the sequel. They're connected somehow. I don't know the details, but there's Deltarune and there is Undertale. They're like 8-bit games. So I tried playing Undertale and it was like, I can't. I mean, I love my 8-bit games from back in the day, but I couldn't. It was too much like going backwards. I'm a little spoiled now. It's like I played this when I was like 8 years old. I'm not going back to 8-bit. Sorry. But Kyle loves it. And his costume was very elaborate. Like a lot of them, the others were kind of store-bought and they were kind of like, basic looking. His he made with his mom's. So it was like very detailed, and he looked fantastic. So it was very cool.
Can't
All
believe
right.
he's 13 years old.
What's that?
I said I can't believe he's going to be 13 years old. It seems like just yesterday you were turkey basting it up.
Yep. We made it. Woo! All right, everybody. See you
Bye,
later.
guys.